So there's this quote by Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. Just a phenomenal book. And it's not some feel-good motivational shit that you put on your Instagram story, okay? This is it's a functional blueprint, this quote, for personal freedom. It's like a direct hit to the skull for every excuse you've ever made for why your life looks the way that it does. And you want to know really why you keep reacting the same way? Why you keep snapping, sabotaging, shutting down, disappearing, exploding, ghosting, or numbing the moment shit gets heavy and real? It's because you haven't mastered a space. See, the space between what happens and how you respond. That space, that's where your power lives. And see, most men, they don't even know that that space exists. Viktor Frankl says, between your stimulus and your response lies a space. And within that space allows your power and your freedom to change everything. See, most people, they go straight from stimulus to meltdown, from trigger to tantrum, from feeling to fuck up, like some emotionally stunted machine. And then they wonder why their relationships are a mess. Their confidence is in the gutter, and why their lives feel like one bad loop of just bad decisions. So let's break this down. See, something happens. Maybe your girlfriend says something that hits a nerve, or your boss criticizes your work. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Those are stimuli. And without even thinking, without even breathing, you just react. You lash out, you shut down, you reach for your phone, your vape, your porn, your drink. You fall into your usual escape route because your nervous system is running the show. And your conscious mind is nowhere to be found. That's how most men operate. Reaction mode. Reactivity. And the worst part, you start to believe that your reactions are your personality. Like, this is just who I am. I'm not a patient guy. No, man, you're just undisciplined and unaware of the space. See, Frankl's quote, it's not just a poetic idea. It's like a warning sign. That space is your last line of defense between who you are now and who you want to become. And every time you skip over that line, you forfeit the chance to make a better choice, a stronger choice, a conscious choice. That's the real problem. Most men have never been taught how to pause, how to sit in that space long enough to ask, what response serves me the best? Not what feels good right now, or what will shut this pain down, but what builds the man I'm trying to become. Because in that space, that's where transformation happens. That's where you go from a reactive little baby boy to a decisive, grounded man. You think masculinity is about being dominant and alpha and never backing down? Come on. Masculinity is response over reaction. It's about being in control. And not fake control where you bottle everything up and act like a fucking robot, but real control. The kind where you can feel everything and still choose your response. But the reality, most guys are terrified of that space. You know why? Because sitting in it means facing shit. It means feeling things that you've spent years running from. It means not numbing out, not distracting yourself, not blaming others. It means accountability. And accountability is scary as hell when you've built your identity around being the victim of your circumstances. So let me tell you something from experience. If you want to reclaim your power, you need to slow the fuck down. Not in a lazy, passive way, but in a razor-sharp, conscious way. When something triggers you, pause. Don't react. Don't speak. Don't act. Just breathe. That breath creates the space. And in that space, ask yourself, what am I feeling? Or where do I feel this in my body? Where is this really coming from? What choice right now will build the man that I want to be? And it takes practice. It takes intention. It takes a willingness to fail, to get triggered over and over and over again, to fuck it up, and then reflect. But every time you do it, even if it's just once a day, you're stretching that space. You strengthen the pause. You start to rewire your nervous system to respond instead of react. And that's when you start becoming dangerous in the best way. Because now no one controls you. Not your past, not your emotions, not other people's opinions. You become unfuckwithable. So let me give you an example. Say your girlfriend says something that pisses you off. Maybe it hits that childhood wound that says, I'm not enough. In the past, you would snap back, deflect, accuse, maybe even walk out. But now, you breathe, you feel the sting, you acknowledge it, and say, damn, that really hit me. And instead of reacting, you say, hey, what you said, it landed hard. I need a second to process that so I don't respond from a reactive place. Boom. Man, that's the space in action. That's the sweet spot. That is masculine leadership in a relationship. That is emotional intelligence. That's power right there. Or say you're working on a business or a goal and suddenly things just go sideways. The old you would panic. You would procrastinate. You would spiral into self-doubt. But the man who's mastered the space, he pauses. He observes the panic, the fear, the discomfort, and he chooses, not from survival, but from strategy. He responds with clarity, not with chaos. That's the power of that space. Now look, I'm not saying that this is an easy practice, because that space doesn't come naturally, especially if you have spent your whole life living in reaction. But it's trainable. You can build it. You can condition yourself to slow down, to respond with intention. But you're not going to do it just by thinking about it. You need reps. You need accountability. You need to practice. And for a lot of men, that starts with getting around people who aren't afraid to call you out on your reactive bullshit. Because let's be honest, you're not always going to catch it on your own. You need feedback. You need mirrors. You need men who will look you dead in the eye and say, man, that wasn't strength, that was fear. And that's exactly why I coach men through this exact thing, because it's not just about learning a quote. It's about living it. It's about embodying values, becoming a man who lives in that space every damn day, who leads from that space, who creates from that space. Because when you do, you stop living life like it's happening to you. And you start living life like it's happening through you. You stop reacting to the world and you start creating the world. So the next time you feel triggered by your partner, by your work, your finances, your past, just don't run. Don't explode. Don't reach for the quick fix. Find the space. Breathe into it. Sit in the discomfort and choose, because that choice, that's where the man you're meant to be lives. And if you're tired of reacting, if you're done with the same loops, if you're ready to learn how to actually live from that space, schedule that free call with me by using the link that's down below in the description. Because your life, it does not change in the chaos. It changes in the pause, in the space, in the moment you decide, I'm not going to react like the old me. I'm going to respond like the man I'm becoming. That's power. That's growth. That's freedom. Come on, let's go.